Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about where your faith is. Is your faith in the world, the world's economy, what the world talks about, the world's fears, the world's doom and gloom, or is your faith in God? Because this affects all areas of your life. It affects your health, it affects your mentality, it affects your spirituality, it affects all things in your life, your business, your success or lack thereof. It's where's your faith pointed? Is it focused and oriented on God alone? Or are you getting caught up in the world and the cares of the world and the things the world talks about all the time? I've seen people whose businesses were doing all right, and they got off into watching the news and talking about the news and talking politics and talking about the economy. And they just started seeing a steady decrease in their profits, decrease in their sales. And if they keep at it, they're going to go out of business. Now you may say, well, that's not the reason. It's because of this and because of that. They were doing all right when the economy wasn't doing very well before, because they were creating their own economy, because they had faith in God. They were thinking about the things of God and talking about the things of God and meditating on the things of God. But now they've reversed that and they're going the other direction. They're focused on the world. They're talking about the things of the world. They're meditating on the things of the world. They're meditating on the doom and gloom the world spews forth. Listen, the world's news media is, and let me be very clear, that includes the professing Christian news media, because I know there's some professing Christians that do news stations. It's the same stuff. They may report a little bit better and a little bit closer to the truth, but that's not even what's going on. They keep you in the same rooted and grounded in the same fear. They talk up fear for 30 minutes and then give you a few minutes of hope. That's still not good for you. You have to understand that the news media is the world's prophets. It's prophesying the things they want. And here's a fundamental thing that people don't understand is what mass groups of people choose to believe creates what is going on in the world. If you tell the average people enough times that the economy is doing bad, things are bad over here, things are bad, they will stop spending as much. They will stop investing. They will start doing things that sabotage them in their own businesses and their own jobs. And they will bring that doom and gloom upon their own selves. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's a prophecy from the world and from Satan's prophets. It's not from God. God's not telling you to be afraid. God's not telling you to hoard up stuff because you're afraid and you're going to be a prepper. God's not telling you that. That's a fear-based mentality. That's not faith at all. That's a faithless mentality. Think of the disciples when Jesus is on the boat and the rain, the winds are blowing and they're panicking and he's asleep because he had full confidence and faith in God. He wasn't worried. He had no anxiety. He didn't have to go prep. He knew everything was all right. And they woke him up and said, "Carest thou not that we perish?" And he just rebuked the wind and the waves and then rebuked them for having no faith. How is it that they have no faith? But so many people are going around living that same life. They're not living in faith. They don't have confidence in God. The world is stirring up a storm outside of them, and they're choosing to accept that that must be their lot in life. That must be God's will for my life. You know, the economy's going down. Who cares? Now listen, I don't want the economy to go down because I don't want people to be hurt. But on another perspective, it doesn't have to affect me in the least because my faith is in God. And He creates my own economy because I do the things that are pleasing to Him. And because I do the hard work that's required and the smart work that's required to lead me to success. But if you just blindly accept the world and what the world talks about, what the world thinks about things, and you incorporate that into your life, casting off your faith in God, or bizarrely trying to warp and make an amalgamation of faith in God and faith in the devil, you're going to get nowhere in life. Because that kind of unbelief gets nothing from God, as the scripture says. You don't doubt, you don't waver in your heart. The man that wavers is like a wave of the sea, tossed about to and fro, and let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. Anything. You can't be this wavering person, this flaky person, this person tossed about to and fro because the world's telling you things are bad over here or things are going to be bad or whatever. You have to be that person boldly living by faith, boldly decreeing the things you want, and boldly living out that life that God has blessed you with. Many people are not living the blessed life, not because God's keeping them from it, not because God doesn't want them to have it, not because the economy's bad, not because whatever thing you can point to that you think could be the problem. It's because they don't believe God. And because they don't believe God, they don't get the blessing that God is so freely and liberally pouring out upon them. They're basically just shutting up the windows of heaven by their own lack of faith, by their own unbelief, by their own doubt in the promises of God, and their own extreme faith in the world and its prophets. So I want to encourage you today, as you're going throughout your day, look for the good. Look for God's blessing in your life. Look for how things are improving. Look for how God is blessing and moving more goodness into your life. And you got to cast off and cut off the world and the world's way of thinking, the world's prophets, and that includes a lot of professing Christians who just repeat what the world says. That includes the professing Christians that are supposedly prophesying for God, and yet all they're doing is just basically relaying what the news media told them to be afraid of. That's not God, my friend. Remember, the scripture says that every good gift cometh down from above, from the Father of lights. God's not sending cursing. He's not giving you a stone when you ask for a loaf of bread. He's not giving you a serpent. He is giving you his good gifts. And he's blessing you, but you have to receive it. And if you choose to believe what the world says, and you choose to believe people who are professing Christians that are afraid and not in faith, that includes pastors and preachers who are afraid and not in faith, listening to those people is going to get you nowhere fast. Or it will get you somewhere, it's just not where you want to go. What's going to get you where you want to go, what's going to get you the blessing of God, what's going to get you abundance is believing God and believing his word and speaking it and decreeing it over your life and not looking to the left hand or the right hand, but just looking at him and looking to him for all of your blessings and all of your abundance and all of your health and all of your salvation and all of your wealth and all of the goodness and blessings and abundance of God overflowing into your life each and every day. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.